So I'm assuming that. Okay, no, you know what? I'm not even going to do this smug. You've got questions thing. Just. Actually, no. I'm more likely to assume that you're angry than that you have questions.
I mean, you kind of disappeared, and then we're like, "Oh, I'm back," and then disappeared, and then you're like, "Oh, I'm back," and then you disappeared. And honestly, it might be more than that. I don't remember. I'm not really keeping track at this point. It feels sort of be here, and then you won't be, and then you'll be here again, and then you won't be, and then you'll be like,
"Look, I'm not
used. I'm back. Maybe drugged you to the point where you remember nothing. Also, but I'm back. Oh, I'm gone again.
Right, and again, I am sorry about that. Just because I panicked, it doesn't mean that that's a valid excuse for it.
I know.
And yet, somehow you're weirdly chill about it now.
I'm putting it aside for the time being.
And is that Neil speak for I'm willing to forget and forgive, or Neil speak for I'm just going to beat you up about it a month from now once I know enough to be able to go on my own? You know what? Don't answer that.
Look over your shoulder once we're done with the forest, assuming we ever do finish.
The forest isn't something that we can be done with. It's...
Okay, hear me out. What if we just point it and go, "No, you," and then it cries and dies? Problem solved. It's a good idea. I'm just saying.
You know, funnily enough, that actually might have worked if I had known to done that when I first figured out it existed.
I'm a genius. It's been confirmed I'm a genius.
It's been years since then. And the forest is... I mean, even if it had just been you going through the recordings, that would have been... I mean, it would still have been weaker, just, you know... Look, the point is, remember what I said about these things being given power by us knowing what they are and acting on that knowledge?
No, I actually do not remember that in the slightest bit.
Right, you're probably the only person who has worse memory than I do. I just did that on instinct.
Let's go, team. Let's go.
But it's both about knowing what they are and acting on it. And your action, if your action had been to just watch through the recordings and occasionally do stuff like call Dr. Williams, and speaking of which, that was a HIPAA violation for her to tell you any of the shit that she did, so I don't know why that was a thing. Actually, wait, I don't know if you're supposed to pronounce the acronym or spell it out.
I don't know.
Maybe if you went to therapy, you would know. But then again, I assume that you're too busy with...
Right.
What were we talking about?
I don't remember. How are we supposed to be able to, like, handle shit?
Yeah, I know, right? Right,
That's
okay.
why we haven't succeeded yet. It makes sense now.
That and I'm so used to trying to do this on my own that it's kind of... Is it raining?
It appears so.
Well, good thing I got here before it started then. Right, okay, I remember what we were talking about.
It's raining.
You know, focus.
I'm trying.
You're not going to be sitting there staring at the window watching the raindrops go down and going, I think that one's going to get to the bottom first for 3 hours.
That's a tree, you know.
Why did it have to be you?
See, it's funny because there's no trees there.
Correct. There's like 3 inches of grass, and then a fence, and then 3 more inches of grass, and then a house that's in even worse condition than this one.
Yay.
Again, I am once more thinking about your comment of how are we supposed to be able to do any of this.
How are we supposed to be
able
to do
anyway,
this?
I remembered what I was talking about.
Wonderful. Can you talk about it?
I forgot what I was fucking talking about.
No, well, that sucks.
Okay, wait, no, I remembered what I was talking about again. So, remember what I was saying, not as in, like, 3 weeks ago, as in right now, about how these things are dependent on both us recognizing they exist and acting on that.
I'd forgotten that until now, but yes.
You recognized that something was going on there, even if you didn't know that it was the forest specifically. I mean, the way you were talking implied that you thought it was, some monster creeping around within an otherwise mundane forest?
I guess something to that effect, yeah. I never really figured out really what it was until later.
Yeah. But it was both a matter of you recognizing that something was up there, and the way that you chose to act on it wasn't just, watching through the videos and calling Dr. Williams and somehow getting her to commit a HIPAA violation. Your action was to upload all of those to YouTube. And sure, you only had 14 people consistently watching those things, but that was still 14 more people who now knew that the forest existed, and their only action in response to that, at least as far as we're aware of, was to continue watching the videos and maybe theorizing what was going on, but they were still knowing that something was there, and they were acting upon it in one way or another. So that's now 16 people, assuming that we go with what I remember, there was the subscriber count on your channel.
I don't remember.
As opposed to 2 people who knew that the forest existed and were acting on it. That's now 16 people who knew the forest existed and were acting on it, even if it was just as minor as choosing to watch the videos. And because of that, look, just going from me being the only person who was aware of it and acting on it to doubling that to 2 people who knew it existed and was acting on it, just that alone would have been enough to empower it. But taking it to 16 people, admittedly, the way that the forest has...
Actually doubling it 4 or 5 times.
You've always been better at math than me, so I'm just going to assume that you're correct on that front.
I think 4. Maths.
But, the force is that much more powerful now. And even my half-ass schemes before I just decided fuck it and booked it to Rhode Island they boiled down to getting a bunch of gasoline cans and trying to burn the thing to the ground. And all that it did in response to that was figure out how to scare me out based on how I'd reacted to the things it did before. And then it just threw up fence around it and tried to repel me from getting anywhere near it whenever I went to go back for the gas cans. I wonder if they're still good by this point, actually.
I think if gas sits too long, I think I might separate or something. I don't know.
Yeah, plus they've probably been rained on a lot by this point.
As long as they're not open, that shouldn't be a problem.
Fair enough. But that's... that's how this is. The referencing it as collective unconsciousness wasn't... I'm not going to say that the supernatural is based off of everything that Carl Jung theorized, because he was wrong about basically 90% of things, and the other 10% he didn't really understand either. He was more just throwing darts at a wall, and then it went through the wall and hit the target somehow because he was living in a place made out of graham crackers. And he went, ooh! Except he didn't actually, because I don't think he knew the supernatural existed. I don't know,
Well, he was pretty young, what do you expect?
I don't think you even know who Carl Jung is.
No, I was waiting 30 seconds for you to finish so I can make that joke.
Of course you were.
Of course I was.
I don't know. The extent of my knowledge on Carl Jung is reading a Wikipedia article. But...
Wikipedia, the free online encyclopedia.
Anyone can edit. Glad to know
why were we chosen for this?
Glad to know we've still got the same brain cell. You're nodding so hard that the table's shaking. Stop that. Stop that.
No.
Stop
Don't
that.
touch me. Don't touch me, harlot.
Would you like to repeat what you said previously once more?
No, I'm good.
No, as in why was it us?
Why is it us?
Because I would...
just the past couple of, seconds. Should.
Okay, look, the way that it... Do you know... I'm assuming that you did not Google anything that I said to you. previously.
And,
And that you've spent these past 3 weeks just, like, staring at the ceiling, being bored.
I mean, most of it's been escapism, honestly, but some of
And
my
I think
time,
I also remember you mentioning in your text something about mom forcing you to get a summer job.
yeah, I'll probably quit it eventually, but yeah.
Hopefully the minute that school starts again.
I'll
Because
justify
that's probably the earliest that she'll be able to let you get away with it.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Okay, anyway, the collective unconscious idea sort of thing is that, like, is that everybody has within some part of their mind the same sort of, like, concepts and symbols, and that's just sort of universal. So the way the supernatural works is you look at that and you take it to its natural conclusion, specifically that almost everybody sees symbols and concepts in slightly different ways, and the human brain is an association creating machine. And most of the associations it creates have nothing to do with actual fact or logic or anything. I mean, people will, like, if somebody, like, randomly remembers one, like, time that they were at their grandmother's house when they were 3 years old while they're on a roller coaster, they've accidentally intertwined the images of their grandmother and roller coasters permanently after that because they were young when they thought that. Don't make a joke about Carl Jung's surname or I'm going to punch you. The thunder agrees with me.
Knock knock. Who's there? Oh, Carl Jung's surname. That was worse than anything you could have imagined, wasn't it?
Suppressing my urge to shoot you and moving forward the best that I can.
You don't have a gun.
Want to bet?
Not really.
Besides, what are you gonna do? Bring a knife to a gunfight?
Throw a knife at a gunfight.
You know what? I'm not going to ask you to demonstrate that you can throw knives because this is a small room, and even if the force would regenerate any damage I took, I don't want to put up with that.
Wuss. It's really raining outside, isn't it?
Yeah. Good thing I got route travel on my side, otherwise I'd have to be running through that.
Good thing I got root canals on my side.
What?
No, I don't actually have any. What even is a root canal, actually, though?
I think it's something that they do to your teeth.
Huh.
And once again, we have gotten completely off track of what we were
Probably
talking
the
about.
root of your teeth. Or maybe it's to address the root of a problem, which might also be the root of your teeth. Okay.
I'm going to start sending your teeth on a route flying through the air to gently tinkle against the wall if we don't get back on topic.
Tinkle.
I recognize that was a poor word choice the moment I said it also, for the record.
Good. Just want to make sure.
Okay, look. Human brains. Association creating monsters, and most of them don't make sense. Are you with me on that?
Yeah.
Now, take that and apply it to the collective unconscious idea that I was just talking about. The conclusion that you get in the end after that, what do you think a supernatural based on that would look like?
What do you mean?
Like, say, let's use the forest as an example. Let's say that the base concept of the forest, I don't actually know if this is it for the record, but it's the best guess I've got. Say the base concept of the forest is that of a spooky forest. We've got that concept in fiction from probably all around the world, right?
Yeah.
That concept of a spooky forest. That is probably the base concept behind what the forest is. But then it starts to fall apart the more that you look at it. For example, if the concept is the spooky forest, why the hell is it so obsessed with tarot symbolism? What relation does that have to the idea of a spooky forest?
I guess someone who interacted with it thought it did.
Exactly.